Hi everyone, it's Tabitha from 1111 Hour and Help Me Build My Business Australia. We are joined tonight by the lovely Kerri Ludlow. Kerri, hi, how you going?
Hi, I'm good, thanks, Tabitha. How are you tonight?
I'm really good, thank you. So Kerri is a clinical hypnotherapist, registered counsellor and family therapist, which is a lot of titles, isn't it?
It is a lot. I'm a chronic course taker, actually. I've taken
Yes.
lots of courses. And they all fascinate me, and I use all of them actually every day in my work.
Yeah, and so what inspired you to become a counsellor? Like a short answer. What's something that you what's something that sparked an interest for you in this kind of world?
I guess it was based on my background and the experiences that I went through, and I just wanted to help others get through their hell that I went through once. And I think a lot of people in the space actually have a lot of experience with life and make meaning with it. So, it was kind of like my therapy as I trained.
Yeah. And you actually did something pretty inspirational and went back to study later in life, which is something many of us can be really scared of doing. How did you find that?
It was very daunting, actually. I was 41. And I thought, oh, my goodness, am I going to know what to do? And, I had 5 children and, they were ranging from about 7 to 17 then, and running a business with my husband and all that kind of thing. But I also wanted to, just help people through their stuff. And I love helping people. It's just what I love to do. Just like you, actually. You're great at that as well.
We were lucky to connect through the fact, I have a disability organisation, you have a counselling practice, and it's been really lovely getting to know you, of course, and we sort of have a affinity. We kind of sort of see each other as very similar people, which is nice.
Yes, you're like the younger version of me.
Oh, that's awesome. It's awesome to have you on. I know that this is, it can be daunting going live on the internet, but we are doing it. And honestly, it's been awesome to see everyone that tunes in each week on a Tuesday and supports 1111 Hour and the Help Me Build My Business community. We've literally, what are we up to? Week 7. So week 7, it's super exciting. We've had some really great guests. And Kerri, you've been an avid viewer, so that's really lovely. Thank you for that.
I watch every week. I tune in every week, and it's really good, actually. There's such a diverse range of people, and we're all really amazing business owners. It's a daunting thing. I'm only into my 2nd year with it, and it can be really quite daunting, and you have to be quite courageous, don't you?
You sure do. Yes, you sure do. That is one of the things that, look, it's easy to stay in your comfort zone, though, isn't it, and work for someone else. But it's very rewarding when you have your own business, and, everyone that's in the community that we support, Help Me Build My Business, all of the same, that we're all interested in the same thing, and that's building a business. And it can be scary, and that's why a community around you is important. So that's how I feel anyway.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about, isn't it? Connections and relationships with everyone in our life. And, and that starts at the foundation of our partners and families. And that's why we mainly go into business, isn't it? Because we want to be around our families more, be more financially secure, work our hours that we want to work. And, it's all really about family, isn't it?
It is. That's what it was for me and my husband. Family, being around for your family and being able to provide them security and do something that you're passionate about. If you can get that formula right, you're doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. We did that with our first business. We had 5 children. So, it was, my husband just couldn't do a full-time job. It wasn't going to work. And I was home with the kids all the time, and we just wouldn't have really got anywhere. So we started our first business many years ago, and I did all of the, the back end kind of stuff, and bought, answering the phones and all that. And then in the end, I actually was out there working with him. So it was.
Sounds similar to how I started. All the admin, the answering the phone, all that stuff at the start. Yeah, that's yeah. Hi everyone that's joining us. By the way, I'm seeing the hellos come up, and it's
hello everyone.
The comments. So let's get started. Maintaining and strengthening relationships with everyone in your life.
Yes,
such an important topic. So let me get to the slides. Okay. So.
Thank you. Yes.
We're first going to talk about partner and spouse, significant others, Kerri.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's our foundation, actually, is that, if we choose to have a partner in our life, that we want them to be our cheerleader and also be that sounding board when we're going through tough times. It can be really hard some days with business, can't it? It can be quite challenging, and we might just need someone at the end of the day to give us that 8-second hug, which builds that oxytocin and, the bonding hormone, and just makes us feel a lot better.
Sure.
So the 8-second hug, I don't know if anyone's heard of that, but it's actually just cuddling your significant other first thing in the morning and late at night, saying goodbye to bed, going goodbye in the morning to work, and that actually helps reduce the cortisol levels and starts your day really nice, actually. Even kids love that too.
Yeah, that's a really great tip. It's an easy one to remember too, 8-second hug.
Yeah.
Really great.
I mean, and when we go into the love languages, if you're not a person that loves physical touch, they can actually, my couples that are like that come to see me, will say, I actually counted out the 8 seconds, and made sure I held on that long enough. But it's some people love it more than that. They want 30 seconds, and that's okay if you're agreeable to that. But our children love that as well. When we drop them off to school or start the day, they love that as well. So it's for everybody.
It's not just about your partner, it's about your kids as well. 8-second hug. What a really lovely thing to start in your home. I might just start it in my home.
Well, I recommend everyone start it tonight when you say goodbye. Good night, at night. So, and then we go into the 5 love languages, actually. So I don't know if people have heard of this before, but you can do an online quiz that's in the bottom of the slide there, so the 5lovelanguages.com. And there's one for children as well there, so you can find out what their love language is. And then when you take them out for their date night, you can actually fit it in with that as well as your partner. So the 5 love languages are, all of us have a primary and then a secondary love language. So that's great. Kerri did the quiz today and it was really interesting. That's awesome. So what was your love language, Kerri, out of the 5 there? Maybe we'll get back to her. But
I can tell you, I did it with her.
Okay.
We shared it. We did this together today. Acts of service. We were both the same. Yeah.
Fantastic. So that would make sense. So words of affirmation is, you're looking really hot today, or you're looking gorgeous. Acts of service might be going and filling up your partner's car with fuel. Making them a coffee in the morning, things like that. Gifts and tokens. This one can be, that's great, Corinne. You want to do the quiz. Good on you. Just look up the 5 love languages and it will get sent to your inbox. Gifts and tokens are things like cards, a bunch of flowers, I'm thinking of you, a text and things like that. So it's not necessarily, cars, buying me a brand new car or anything like that. And then quality time is, spending time uninterrupted with each other. And it's no phones, really speaking to each other and doing something fun together. And physical touch, well, that can be holding hands to, in the bedroom or whatever you want to do. Even like massage and things like that with the physical touch as well is really beautiful. Even rubbing someone on their arms or, tapping them on the shoulder, letting them know that you care. Is really beautiful. So yes, 5 love languages. If we do that and then share that with our partner, what our love language is, they can even buy gifts for your birthday according to that. So yes, there's lots of suggestions online of what you can do for the 5 love languages. So if you share that goes into the inbox and, your inbox, the results, and you can share that with each other. And then you can actually know, because usually our love language is what we do for others. So for an example, my husband's is physical touch and mine's gifts and tokens. And so, I remember one time I spent like a month researching what I'm going to buy him, and I was really excited. And, I went and bought it and I hid it. And then it was his birthday and I gave it to him and he goes, "Oh, thanks." I went, I can't believe this. I thought to myself, like, wow, like I did all of this work and you don't even seem to appreciate it. This was way back before I was a counsellor. And, then I found out that his language is physical touch. So I was speaking French to an English person. I was speaking a totally different language. And
that makes sense.
Whereas you would have probably been happy with the cuddle. And then, I wouldn't have wasted a month of my life researching something. Although he was appreciative, it didn't hit his target. And so, we can say, well, why should I do that for my partner if they're not going to do it for me? But if you do the quiz, then you can share that information and at least they know.
It makes sense. I know, and what's important, like I know my husband's done the quiz before and he got quality time back then, and I think that still is true today because he likes to spend time with me, whether it's whatever hobby we're doing at the time, like it might be watching a TV show, it could be anything, just that time together is important to him. So, or having dinner together, things like that. My question for you, Kerri, is what if your partner is the physical touch love language and you're not somebody that likes physical touch? What do you do? You could maybe buy him a massage if that's what he loves. But also, I think it's just really good even you can hold hands, and when you're walking down the street or, things like that you are comfortable with, work within your comfort zone as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But, we can learn that that's really important to them. So, we can learn that, we can probably just push that boundary a little bit further. It's just really nice to do what our partner loves. It's bonding time, and it's really definitely a beautiful thing because then they know that we're thinking of them. And that's right. The Gottman card deck, Tabitha, the Gottman card deck is actually an app that you can get on the App Store, and it has a lot of suggestions for couples. So there's lots of different things. So you can look at, there's some spicy stuff on there. There's also some date ideas. There's some questions that you can ask, especially with the quality time. It really does take into account all of the love languages of suggestions, so you might even ask, what was your favorite pet as a child? And you deepen your knowledge about each other with the questions. So you might want to do this as a date night if you can't get out, if you've got the kids at home, that you have a picnic on the floor even, or a dinner later at night, if you have little children, and that you actually open the app and ask the questions, or there's lots of different sections. in
Oh,
here.
okay.
So that's one of the better ones. The Gottmans are amazing people. Like they can predict within with 96% accuracy of whether people are going to be together as a couple in 5 years within 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. What is
Just,
who are the Gottman? Who is the Gottman?
yeah,
Never
so
heard of
it's
it.
John and Julie Gottman. They're a couple, and so they've been studying thousands of couples for years. And if we go to the next slide,
Yeah.
so yeah, actually it comes in after this slide, but this is what happens when we don't put time into our relationships. This is a beautiful garden here on the left, all maintained, spent time, caring for it. If we don't put that time in with each other, we get the weeds, don't we? And then it's, before we know it, it's all overgrown and it's just a big mess.
Yeah, you might start with a few weeds, but it gets,
Yeah.
it's only going to get worse from here if you don't do something about it. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to spend the time. And so, so if we go to the next slide, this is what happens when we don't put time into our relationship. So the average couple struggle with the relationships issues 7 years before they seek counselling. And then they're the kind of people that will come to me and say, we've got all of this resentment and everything else happening. And, it can be really hard to actually come back from that. So that's why we want to weed it regularly and spend time together, use those love languages to make sure that we keep all the weeds at bay. Okay.
Yes.
And then most of us listen to answer, don't we? We don't necessarily listen to understand. Yeah, we all are.
When you're a fixer and you want to fix your loved one's problems, it's, your first thing is, what can I do about that? What can I do?
Jump into fix-it mode, don't we? Yeah, and that's the thing. When we listen to our partner, do you want me to be a sounding board and just vent to me, or do you want me to help you fix a problem?
That's true. Yeah.
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 And then if we can do a 10-minute check-in each week about our relationship, how do you think we're going? Do we need to do another date night? Should we go away for a weekend and get the kids minded? Could we do something together this week, that does take those love languages into account, that, so that we're regularly weeding that. And then when we have that date night, we need to limit our phone use. So put that, how many people do we see at a restaurant? They've paid for their kids to get minded for the night. They go out for dinner and they're on their phones. They're not actually connecting with each other. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's what we want to do. So this is the Gottman work here, the 4 horsemen and how to stop them with their antidotes: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. All of those things lead to the demise of a relationship. So how can we antidote those? We can do a gentle startup. Instead of being critical. We can do a gentle startup. And, when people get critical, what happens? We throw mud, they throw something bigger back, don't they? With criticism. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, it's that you always, that kind of business. Yeah.
That's right.
So it is important to, just make sure that you keep all of those things out of your relationship. Use your I statements. I statements are very powerful because you're owning what you're saying and no one can dispute how you feel because they're not you. If we say you always or you do or whatever and you're throwing the mud at someone else, they're going to come back defensively.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, any questions, everyone?
No.
Yeah, what have we got coming up on the screen?
We haven't got anything at the moment, but that's okay. Everyone might already know this stuff.
Yeah, maybe they're not. Yeah, maybe they're not coming through at the moment. But let's move forward. Our children. So we've talked about relationships. We've talked about our partners, significant others. But what about our kids?
Yeah, so absolutely. I had 5, and it was hectic some days, just like you with your 3 Phoebe, with little Phoebe, and with you, Tabitha. I always seem to think Phoebe and Tabitha. Yeah.
I have 3 girls. I have 3 girls who are 20, 11, and 1. So one just recently. So I've got, they're all in different zones of their life. They're all different points.
Absolutely. I have 3 daughters and 2 sons, and mine are from 23 up to 34. Makes me feel really old. and 8 grandchildren as well. So got a bit of experience.
You've got your hands full there.
So with our children, having that special date time with each of our children, they love that. And if you know their love language, and it might be quality time, you can go out, for a couple of hours and do something fun with them that they really, really love. Or it could be that, they love physical touch. It's that hugging and things like that. So, so that's fantastic. Having the family time doing fun things together. I mean, these are, obvious things that a lot of people would already know. Do silly things, dance around and have fun. Our kids love that, don't they? When we be a kid with them for a bit.
Yes, they do.
Love it. They get so excited. And not being overscheduled with doing activities after school every day. Our kids need to learn to be bored occasionally. And when you've got 5 going, I'm bored, you think, oh, my goodness, like that's just crazy. Okay, let's go down the shop and we'll get some cardboard boxes and some paper plates, and you can make things. And they used to make cars, and, they spend days of their holidays doing stuff like that. Really play's good, isn't it? It's actually really good for them to get outside, away from the screens. Because what happens with the screen addiction is that's that dopamine, that, hit of dopamine that happens. And so they learn that, if you've got nothing to do, or you're bored, or you're waiting for someone, just look at your phone, and then before we know it, they're addicted as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and like I can't even lie. That's an issue in my house. I work a lot, and I've got my phone, all the time, and that my children are seeing that. So I think it's a really common one for parents, and they're just grappling in their head. Okay, what am I teaching them by always, being on your phone? So
yeah. When they tell you you're on your phone all the time, that's when you know it's a real issue.
When you know. I do think it's important to limit screen time if you can, and even if you can start small, you don't have to be like, oh, my children can only use screens from this time and this time. If you've got that habit in your house already formed, I feel like it's important that people know that it's okay. You can actually cut back in, just in small segments, and not be so, it might be that you break that mold or that situation by saying, hey, let's go outside. And it could be something like that, when you surprise your kids like that, sometimes that is the best approach, I find.
Absolutely. We're going to go to the park after school. They love to play, or we're going to stay back at school for 10 minutes. You can play with your friends. It's things like that, that it's a connection. They want connection. And, when we haven't got people around and we're waiting, what do? We get this out and we connect. Right? And,
correct. Yeah.
And, we mindlessly scroll. That's not scrolling for hours is not like, unlike being in a trance when we drive home from work and we think, oh, I'm already here, or we watch TV and we zone out, or the phone, and before we know it, an hour's passed. And then, you know, it's an hour that we've lost of our day that could have been used much more constructively. And yeah, that's what hypnotherapy is kind of like. It's in that trance, in an alternate consciousness.
Yeah. I think also as adults we can do that as well. You know, maybe instead of having your phone, like say over dinner time, you might be like, okay, I'm going to put my phone on charge in my bedroom for the next hour and really engage with my family. It could be that simple. I don't think it has to be like, oh, I'm not going to use my phone for the next 4 hours at night or I'm going to put it down at 6 o'clock and not touch it. Like that's unrealistic. But if it's a small little thing, it could be even half an hour. I think it's important to look at. I'm going to look at that in my house, definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that's a great idea. And as we're in business, you know, we think, oh, I've got to have my phone on me all the time. But I turn mine off at 6 o'clock at night and, you know, my business phone, and that's it. I am, that's great, Corinne. You don't have phones at dinner time at all. That's great. And that's, you know, that's what we used to do with the kids was we would have dinner time all around the table and, you know, what happened with your day today? You know, what happened that was fun? And that really helps build that connection. You know, when you've got 7 people around the dinner table, it can be quite noisy and everyone wants to tell you. But, it's a really good way to connect with your kids at the end of the day.
Yes. So you're that mum as well. I'm that mum as well. I'm the mum that says, so tell me something great about your day, or tell me something that didn't work, or ask these questions. So they can't just say good, like ask them, you know, questions.
Open-ended questions. Yes, open-ended where they have to answer not just yes or no. It's so true. Yes, so the dinner time's a great idea. Get them to help around the house. Oh, how many clients I have that say my 20-year-old doesn't do anything around the house. And I say, well, why are you doing it all? And they're stressed and overwhelmed and anxious and all of these things. And, you know, it's, he's a little bit sick or something like that, and think, well, so are you, but, you know, you're still doing it all. So I think it's really important that our kids realise that it functions as a team, just like anything in life, doesn't it? We have to function and connect as a team to get the results, because one person on their own can't do as much as a team of people or a couple even, you know. We can multiply things when we work in teams and when we work together and connect. So, okay. And yes, can the children spend time with other family members and safe people? We want them to be around safe people, of course.
Of course. So like grandparents and aunties and uncles and cousins
friends,
and all that.
Yeah, because some people, you know, like 25% of families don't get along. They might have an estrangement. And so, you know, if we haven't got them in our life, can we choose some friends that can become our family and start those new traditions with them?
Yeah.
Like Christmas.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, this is an important one, Kerri.
Yes.
Very important one. Your relationship with you.
Yes.
That is something we work on over many, many years.
Oh, absolutely.
It takes us a while to get to know ourselves and actually look after ourselves. And sometimes it takes a big wake-up call, or sometimes I'm sure there's people out there that just master it. I have no idea.
Oh, that's not me. That's not me. Yes, it's a struggle, isn't it? Because if we're a person that does give and care for others, we tend to put ourselves last. We're down the list, you know, especially if we're a parent. You know, we always make sure our kids are priority, our business is a priority, our friends, our family. And Wilma says kids should have set jobs in the house to help relieve pressure. Absolutely. That's so true. So thank you, Wilma. Yes. So take 10 minutes or more if you can for your self-care each day. You know, that ends up to not even 1% of our day. It's not much, is it?
No, it's not much.
So we really need to have that moment where, and that doesn't mean taking a bubble bath or lighting a candle. It could mean journaling. It could mean a meditation. It could mean going for a walk outside or grounding ourselves on the ground with our bare feet. It's a great thing to do on the grass. It could be butterfly tapping. So this is just this, like a butterfly.
Yeah.
And that helps us ground and just be prepared for our day. That only takes, 2 minutes to get calm and get centered again. And I love the GEM model. So I recently saw the guys from the Resilience Project, and they use this. So it's gratitude, 3 things that went well today, and something you're looking forward to tomorrow. Empathy. Who can you email, text, or call to let them know you care? One person I know that does this fantastically well is you, Tabitha.
Oh, thank you.
You always check in on people and are such an advocate for them. And, that's a really beautiful quality to have. And it's something that a lot of people have to develop because it doesn't come naturally for a lot of people. So we really need to be in tune and be aware that it's not just about us, even though we've got a relationship with ourselves, that there are other people
That's true.
need us to just give that encouragement. I do this, I kind of do this at the pool, and I think, now who looks friendly? I'll go and talk to them.
Nice.
And my motto in life is always leave people better than you found them. And, so even if you can make them smile or think about something, then that's beautiful. So Corinne said she does all of that kind of stuff as well, which is great. And Chris says, I saw a picture on Facebook last year. It's a picture of a mobile phone battery that it was 10%. Under the phone battery, it said, you wouldn't let your phone get this flat, so why would you let yourself get this flat? Absolutely, Chris. That is so true. Yeah. You cannot pour from the empty cup, can you, Chris? We need that teapot to fill us up every day.
That's 100% true, Chris. That's a good one. What a great model. I hadn't actually heard of it. I think I practiced most of that, but what a cool one to. Who made the GEM model again?
So it's the Resilience Project. It's a guy called Hugh. Yeah. So it's a guy called Hugh that comes from Melbourne, and he did they did a talk last week actually here in Geelong, and it was 2 weeks ago. It was amazing. I went to it. I just went and bought the book that night. I just thought, wow, I love this. So the mindfulness, of course, having that bit of a break. Daydreaming is great. So is stargazing at night if you go and lay on the grass and look up at the sky. That's beautiful. Walking and noticing things, just being in the moment, mindfulness being in the here and now. What's happening here and now? Puzzles, colouring in, all of those things are beautiful. Journaling's great. Even drawing. I know that you're a creative type, Tabitha, so maybe getting your book out and doing a bit of sketching and stuff like that if you've got some time. Some people can't journal. They don't know what to write, so they might draw.
Good point. I love models like this that are easy to remember, that are simple, because we don't want to add too much more to our repertoire in our heads. We've already got a billion things going on, but something like the GEM model, that's not too difficult. If that was one thing that we needed to sort of tick off for the day personally, I mean, that's easy. Well, I think it would be easy. You might not get it perfect every day, but we would, if we can get it right most days, that's a win.
Absolutely. And that wards off anxiety and depression, because we're actually tapping into ourselves and seeing how we feel. And we're seeing that we are grateful, like with the gratitude. It might be even that you've got a comfortable bed to sleep in. It might be that you've got clothes on your back, because so many people don't have that. And it's not that we're comparing what we've got to them, but it's being grateful for what we have, not what we want to have. So, I'm guilty of this as well. I'll be happy when and it's something that's going to happen in the future.
It's about what's making us happy now and what's good in our life right now.
Absolutely.
Exactly. It goes back to the idea that life is a journey. It's not a destination. And we must find, well, I'm going to use the word, little gems along our way.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Moving forward. Yeah. So, we set goals all the time. And I'm a goal setter. I like goals. And setting goals for me along the way, I don't think of a 5, well, I should perhaps, but I don't really have a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal. I have I do 6 monthly goals. That works for me. It doesn't work for everyone. Maybe other people could be more disciplined.
Yes.
But even if you do have an idea in your head that you want what you want to do in 5 years, maybe those little goals are things that will get you to that major goal. But yeah, I think everything you're saying is great. I love all these tips. I'm so enthralled in, I'm so into this. So yeah. Next one.
Yes. Corinne says, I am grateful that I have a biological and chosen family support network around me. And that's exactly right, Corinne. It is about, if we don't have the family that we really, really wanted, let's get out there and meet people that actually can become like family and that we can do traditions with and start new things. They're the best kind because you're choosing them. You know that they work with you and they align with you. So that's really good. Yes, so putting up quotes around your office. I have a whole wall here that I have a look at. Reach for the stars. You can do it. I believe in you, Kerry. All of these ones.
I love that. I love that so much. I don't have that, and I do need to make that. Yeah, my office is not. It doesn't look like yours.
I changed them around. So I just buy some little cards and I put different ones up. But I also choose a word for the year that I meditate on. In that, this year for mine is freedom. So freedom for my business to work the hours that I want to work, freedom to take a break when I would like to, freedom financially, all of these things about freedom.
That's interesting. I wonder if people in the comments, if the audience would like to say what their word would be. If they had chosen a word, what would their word be? I'd love to hear. Freedom is a great one though, Kerri. A really great one.
I love it. Yeah. 2017 for me was transformation, and that's when I really started to transform my thoughts about life. Oh, hi, Amanda Nicole. That's all good. You're a late arrival. What's your word for the year? So it's not too late to start it. It's peace. Corinne wants peace. So
love it.
Corinne, let's start putting that up on your board or on a mirror. So what I suggest to people is that they start, if you don't want people to see it, put it on your bathroom mirror and say it out loud. Success is Aurea business synergy. Fantastic. So, success can come in many forms, can't it? So, I think that just having that one word, and I usually think about it coming up to the new year. And, I don't make resolutions and stuff like that. I just have that word and just have it up there to remind myself. And
I love that a lot.
Yeah, that's good. And then, growth is Cherry's one. So that's fantastic. Growth can come in many forms as well. So that's good. But spending time with your friends and family that encourage and uplift you is so important as well, because this is what I always told my kids when they were little. If someone spends time with you and you come away feeling a bit yuck, they're probably not your people.
Trust your intuition. There's a lot to say about your first, intuition about a person. Sometimes that can give you a bit of an indication of where they would fit in your life.
Yes.
Sometimes. I don't know if that's all the time, but certainly sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so with kids, they usually have that filter that, that's no BS filter. And ours gets worn away as we get older, I think.
I think so. I know. I can say that about my middle child. She is absolutely a great. She's great at picking who's a person that she'd want in her orbit and who she wouldn't. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, Cherry says frequency, and that's so true as well. We all emit stuff out in the world, like an antenna, and whatever we think about ourselves goes out into the world, and that's the kind of people we attract, isn't it, really? I do this work with so I work with a lot of people with trauma and addiction. I work with them each, 2 days a week. And then I do my private practice stuff. And, so many of them, attract these people in their life that are really just users and abusers. And it's really sad to see. But once they change their transform their thoughts, patterns, and see that that's a faulty thinking style of how they see themselves, because that's what people have told them, and they've sold themselves on that, then once they transform, they start to attract better quality people in their life that are more kind. Oh, so yes, Corinne says, my daughter has no filter. That's what I love most about her. That's so true. That's good. That's really good. It means that you've got a strong girl there that's got a bit of sass and, understands that not everyone tells the truth, which is good.
Yes, true.
Yes, all in the mindset. Absolutely, Cherry. It is about mindset. Absolutely. So, yes, the family and friends. So we like to spend the time with the family and friends and start a new tradition. So, like if you have some friends, I know of a lot of people that might live far away from their family, or they're not haven't got their family in their life, and they might have an orphans Christmas, they call it, where they all get together and have Christmas together and start a tradition and do that each year. It could be with, like going out with other families, with your children, and having a barbecue and things like that. Sometimes people do that for Easter, Christmas, Anzac Day, all of those different things. So, even early Christmas catch-ups and things like that. For us, when I was a kid, we used to go away with lots of other families to a caravan park.
Oh, that would be fun.
It was 14 families. So it was lots of boats and lots of caravans and lots of dogs and kids.
Wow, I can imagine. So you always caravan park.
It was funny. It was like a whole row of families that all knew each other. So it was really fun. Like that's something that you might like to do, is go camping with other families. So Kay's saying, Roy Emmett, I love this. That's great. So have a think about people that you could catch up with. If you don't have enough, do you have enough friends in your life? Some people don't feel that they do. We only need a handful, really, or even one or two that are really significant. I have friends from different areas of the life, and it's so funny because when I had a baby, they all met each other and they went, oh, you're so-and-so. It was so funny because they hadn't ever met each other because they come from like 5 different groups. People that, I'd lived in a town with, and then I worked with, and so have a think about, quality over quantity with friends. That's so true. We don't need to have 1,000 friends. We might have 1,000 friends on Facebook, but we might not even know 50 of them really. Really know them, or even 5. So, could you do something special for someone in your life? Could you go and visit someone that's feeling unwell or sick, or make them a meal? I know you do this, Tabitha, as well. You organise, for people and they're not so well and things like that. when we do something for someone like that, you know, that actually, and they appreciate it so much, that actually has an effect, a mutual effect for both us and them for up to a month. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
such
No,
an
that's
amazing
awesome.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
great. So, yeah, make a list of the family and friends that you can reach out to if you need to, because when we're a bit overwhelmed sometimes, we can think, now, who could I contact if there was an emergency or something like that? Who would be there for me if I needed them? And who would I be there for if they needed me?
That's right. Yes.
Because, you know, we might not necessarily feel we're close to them, but they might see us as closer to them than we may think we are. You just don't know, do we? It's all about connection, isn't it? It's about reaching out. And, you know, I just did this the other day to a friend who's also a boss. You know, I said, I love you. And she comes back with, I love you too, Kerry. And I thought, I felt like such a dill when I said it. But then I thought, no, she needs to know that she's very precious to me in my life.
Yeah,
you know?
it's very important to tell people when they mean a lot to you, and show appreciation, because we are, as human beings, we have people that don't treat us very well sometimes. It happens. And so the more people that are showing love for us and support for us, and actively showing it, that counts. It really does.
Absolutely. And Corinne just said actions speak louder than words, and that is so true, isn't it? You know, like I've been there for a lot of people that might not have been there when I've needed them. And you really get to know. So Roy says intuition builds trust, that builds good friendships and relationships. And that is so true, Roy, isn't it? You know, with people can do the talk. The talk is cheap, but, you know, the actions are louder, aren't they? Right. If people put their money where their mouth is, then we know that we can trust them and that they're safe for us. So that's really true. Good. Yeah. And so, yes, the next slide is the social circle. So this circle here is actually listing those people that could be there for you and putting personal or business, like a P or a B, around that, so that if you did get in a pickle, you know who to call, you know, and where you've kind of met them.
This is a really good exercise to do, because sometimes and it's nice to even look, I don't know what you think of this, Kerry, but it would be nice to share that with people that are in your inner circle and say, like, you're in my inner circle, and, you know, that I don't know, I like the idea of sharing something like this. What do you think about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to use this with my high school students because I was a school counsellor for a couple of years, and I used to get them to, I did their career action plans, and it was really interesting because even the kids in foster care that didn't even see their family, but people that were in a family, believe it or not, teenagers seem to actually think that, you know, we seem to think they hate us when they're teenagers. They just don't want to be around us, do they? But, you know, every kid, in the top three was their family as a value, that they really valued their family. And so that was a beautiful thing. And so we actually used to do this circle with them. So I did it with them and say, who's your ride or die? You know, like, who are the people that you can really trust if you get yourself into trouble? And I want you to actually do this photo, like take a photo of it on your phone so that you can refer back to it if you get into trouble, because I always knew they'd have their phone with them. So it was really interesting because, it's just a really good visual representation of your life and who's in it. Anthea says, I used to do this friendship circle when I was younger. It would help to ground me and see where I was wanting to spend more of my time. That is so true. Yeah. Because, because we can kind of separate all of our relationships and the priority of where they lie. And, you know, sometimes parents might be out of a circle for a while with the kids, but then, they might come in closer down the track. Roy says, I'd replace family with tribe, long history around family history and behaviour. Absolutely, Roy. 25% of families have this issue, so you're not alone. You are not alone.
Roy is a big part of my tribe. Huge
fantastic.
part of my tribe, and he's a great guy and a big part of our family. So he'd be right down in my family circle.
Oh, fantastic. And that's what we want. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, not all of these circles will apply for everybody, but, as long as you've got your inner circle and who's in that, it doesn't necessarily have to be blood or family. It can be your family that you choose. Okay?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, next slide.
Yes.
Oh, and this is an important one for us business owners.
Yes, that's right. It's our clients or our customers. So, yes, give our full attention to them. When I went and saw the Resilience Project, Roy says, thanks, Tabitha. That's beautiful.
Thanks, Roy.
Lovely, Roy. When I saw the Resilience Project, the guy Martin who presented it, I went up and spoke to him afterwards, and there was 1,000 people in that room, but it was like I was the only person. And that's a beautiful thing. When you can do that, people feel so important, don't they? Then they're not looking around and the phone's ringing and they're, looking for someone else and they're looking for a way to get out. You're actually engaged and in the moment. And that's such a beautiful thing in this crazy, busy world because, there's how many billion people on the planet, and yet he's giving his attention to me for that moment. That's beautiful. Yeah.
If you can master that in your business, or have your customer service team or whomever you have, doing that job or whatever it may be for your business, I think that that's gold. It works very well in our businesses. It's very important that our clients feel like the only client.
Absolutely.
You matter to us. And that's not just, it's not a strategy. It's literally about having compassion for people and empathy and wanting to support from a genuine place.
Absolutely. Yes, it's not manipulation. It's not anything like that. It's actually being present in that moment with that person, and they're the most important thing in front of you right now, and their needs are being addressed. And, when we listen to someone, and especially as a counsellor, when I listen and validate somebody, they start to heal because they're being heard and they're being validated and they're important. And it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful synergy when that happens. Yeah. And that can happen in any business. So, not being distracted by the phones, like, I've just got to answer this call. Imagine if I did that in a counselling session, someone's actually, pouring their heart out to me. I'll go, oh, sorry, I've just got to get this Facebook, messenger thing or whatever. That would be terrible.
Yeah.
No, for me, I have to, every week I meet new people, and within 10 minutes, Corinne says my clients are my bread and butter and we have amazing relationships. That's beautiful, Corinne. You're doing beautiful work with them.
Yes.
So when I'm meeting with people, within 10 minutes, I'm asking about their trauma in their life in that contract I do, because we have to keep it going, like from this day dot. And, I have to build that trust really quickly and that rapport and that whole synergy of relationship. And I only get one chance at it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of pressure, it's a bit of pressure. But at the same time, it's exciting because then that healing starts from day dot. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And, I do smile even when I'm speaking on the phone. Because that comes across across on the phone line. A lot of it is body language. And, if I was sitting there going, okay, well, the session's ending soon and all that stuff, people aren't going to feel very comfortable, are they?
That's right. That's right. If you're
Yeah.
looking at the clock and,
Yeah.
not being present with the person, they're not going to feel very valued at all.
No, they're not. And also, I like to paraphrase back. As counsellors, we do this. So paraphrasing meaning when someone says something to me, I say, so what you're saying, if I understand what you're saying, da 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 da, right? I'm not paraphrasing where I'm saying exactly what they just told me. Because how many of us listen and then catch the 4 last words and repeat that back?
Yeah.
Listening to respond, not listening to be heard. So yes. So Roy says, I feel listening is a skill vastly underrated. Absolutely, it is,
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
just stopping and listening to somebody and not feeling like you have to, not enough of. There's a lot of people in our community who aren't heard. So they're people that may live alone. They might not have a lot of friends. They might not have a lot of family. And sometimes the best thing to do for most people is to listen to them, or all people really. We all want to be heard. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been told to shut up. That what they say is not important. So Antheus Jane says, I was also taught to smile on the phone, never to assume anything. I had a client who didn't turn up. When I called to check if everything was all right, the person who answered said she'd had a stroke. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So it is so important. I give people lots of chance, with my contract, I ring them twice and, text them and make sure that everything's okay. I have saved a couple of people on occasion of taking their life because I have reached out and I've just had a feeling that something wasn't quite right. People want to live. They don't want to pass. They just want the pain to end sometimes. But if we can give hope, that's what life is about, keeping hope for everybody. If we're hopeful, then we've got life. It's so important. I don't want to get into the deep dark, but and Cherry says to feel understood. Absolutely. It's so true, isn't it? And you might do web design or something like that, but it doesn't matter what kind of work you do. You connect with people and you're filling a need that they have, that they need help with. And so, it's so true. Roy says, assumptions will derail possibilities of building good relationships. Absolutely. We can never assume anything, can we? Thanks, Anthea. It says that's so beautiful, Kerry. Oh, thank you. That's lovely. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. So asking clients about themselves. Most people like to talk about their life, don't they? And if someone wants to hear them, they're willing to do it, sometimes for a whole hour. But
that's all right. Sometimes that's what somebody needs. They might need just to, unpack what they've been through, or talk about a really wonderful thing that has happened to them, or it might be something negative. But it's important to just listen sometimes and just be present for a person. You don't necessarily have to fix all their problems. Because talking, I don't know if this is true. Somebody told me once, Kerry, you might be able to validate this, that it's important for a human being to talk a certain amount of words a day. Is that something you've heard as well?
Yes, absolutely. So at least 7,000 words a day. Some people do a bit more than that. And it's also, we think 60,000 thoughts plus a day. So Cherry says, I've heard that too, Tab. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, so we do need to say that. And some people save it up until they see the next person and do 2 days worth. And that's okay. That's okay. It's really interesting because if you don't have a lot of people to talk to, you can ring Lifeline and actually talk to them about your day. You don't have to have your life on the line. You can actually speak to them and they will listen to for half an hour and ask you how your day was. So don't feel that you're ever alone. There's billions of people on this planet, and yet we feel so alone sometimes. Yes, Corinne says, apparently women talk more than men. Absolutely. I was shy. I was shy up until I was 12. I wouldn't speak to hardly anyone out of the family. And now I talk all day.
Yeah. Back to what you said before, Kerry, sometimes people just don't have enough friends, right? Or enough people in their corner. Where would you suggest, if I was your client and I was quite lonely, what would you suggest to me? One thing that comes to mind for me right now is like perhaps working my way up to getting involved in some kind of hobby that I'm interested in. So then you're around people that have a like-minded interest. Have you got anything else to add to that?
Yes, so hobbies are great. So I usually ask people on the first session, what are your hobbies? What did you used to do? What would you like to try to do? And, there's so many lists, and, I can actually print one out and, give it to people if they want it, if they want to contact me, that has a list of things that you might like to try.
Yes.
So, things that you might have always wanted to try. So one lady I had recently, she said, I like to dance around the house, but maybe I might join a line dancing class. And I said, well, that sounds great. Libraries have events that you can go to, neighbourhood houses. Maybe we want to try some creative things. Maybe you think you're not creative. Everyone's creative in one way or another. This might not necessarily be arty, but you might be able to write well, or you might be able to come up with an amazing limerick or story or joke or things like that. So, creativity comes in many forms. But yeah, definitely. See what your friends are doing, and maybe you can join something, you might want to try pub trivia or go to a stage production or something like that you always thought that you might like to try. Hanging out in these business groups are great. And also, like reaching out to people in this group. There's so many supportive people. Yes, sports club, absolutely. Gym, all of those things. Running group, the park runs, you can meet people there. Even walking or going to the dog park, borrow a dog if you have to. You'll meet people there.
That's true. Like as you said about business groups, we're all people that are going through similar things, right? No matter what our businesses are. They might be very, very different, but we can learn something from each other. That's the beauty of what Tuesday Night Live has been for me, because we've brought together a bunch of people that have completely different skills, but other people can watch and learn from. So I like that. And also I can't count the amount of people that I've met from business that I'm in, not just help me build my business, but Geelong Small Business Network is where I started out with Matthew, and he helped me meet a lot of people in our community. So starting with your local business group is great. Groups like Help Me Build My Business Australia, awesome. Every single, all the admins in the group are all approachable. All the people that you see posting regularly are there to make connections and are there to help each other. So reach out and don't feel alone in this crazy business world. Business can be a lonely game, and it can make you feel like you're the only one, or you're sort of on a treadmill. You're kind of stuck. Or you could be working from home and the only person you see is you in the mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. You could even hire a hot desk for the day and meet with other people.
Good point. Yes. Good point. Yeah. So it's so important. More important than you think at times when you're in business.
Yeah. And these are the things, So, if we take notes about people's family interest, our clients, family interests, their pets' names, they're going to feel connected. But also, why don't we have a coffee date online with someone out of the group? that we want to get to
How
know.
fun would that be? I'm totally sign me up.
Yeah,
Sign
if
me
we're not,
up. If anyone
we,
else wants to do that, post in the group and say, hey, yeah, I do want to do the coffee catch up online. We'd love that.
yeah.
It would be great because we're all coming from different parts of Australia. And it's nice that we could do that together and meet each other face to face. That would be fine. And if you don't, and I must always add this, if you're not comfortable on camera, you do not have to go on camera. Okay.
No.
So if we do that, you could be voice only, or you can type. We don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what I thought of is if we did an 1111 Connect hashtag where we could do a thread and, if people want to catch up with each other, and you don't have to be in the same business, let's get this happening so that we can cheer each other on. I'm happy to be a cheerleader. I love being a cheerleader to people.
Yeah.
So
no, when you said that idea to me earlier today, hashtag 1111 Connect, I thought it was genius. I'm not very proficient with the hashtags, but I'm so totally want to get in on this as well. So yeah, awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So and what's your idea around the hashtag? How would you use the hashtag? Just for the people like me who have no idea.
I think I would just kind of say, I'm up for a coffee date. So Chris said he is as well. And so did Corinne. So I think that that's a great idea. I would use it to say, if anyone wants to contact me and have a coffee date, or we can sit and have our lunch together on the phone or whatever it is, if you're not comfortable on camera, that's all good,
Totally.
I think that that's a great idea because we all need to cheer each other on, because a lot of our family and friends don't know how that is for us. It can be really challenging sometimes, can't it?
True. Really, yes. Like I don't have family that have businesses generally. Like not any family members that I talk to on a regular basis in that way. But it's nice to have new family that we've made from the group and from life in business that we can rely on for those moments where we might be feeling like, you know what, I need a little bit of a catch up on Zoom, or I need a little catch up on Facebook Messenger, or face to face, whatever it is, video talk, video chat. It's all really important. And hashtag 1111 Connect, good one to remember. Yeah. I like it.
I was walking the dog and thought about it.
On the screen right now, you'll be able to see Kerri's contact details. Now, her website is yourlifematterstherapy.com.au. I urge you to look at that website and see if Kerri is someone that you'd like to talk to. But not only that, I'm just going to rehash what she does. She is a registered counsellor, a family therapist, and a clinical hypnotherapist, which I'm telling you, I'm going to say it, Kerri, I have been a client and I did experience some definite success from having hypnotherapy. And she can actually do that via Zoom. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Don't have to worry about not being able to be in the room. It works just as good. And so that's fantastic. So yes, I like if I can help anyone, or you need to be a cheerleader, I'm here for you. Okay.
Yes.
So, and I don't know if you guys would like me to do anything else in the future, but if you would like to, then just go for it. And
you're welcome anytime, Kerri. You just send me a message or give me a call and we'll hook this up. We'd love to have you back on. It's been a really awesome evening. Thank you for everyone who has come on and joined in on the comments, and thank you for all the lovely questions and feedback. Everything. We are all so loving this. There's a message on screen right now that's really important.
Yes.
I want to make a special mention to our wonderful friend Matthew Smith. Matthew Smith is the founder of Geelong Small Business Network on Facebook. If you're in Geelong and you haven't joined the local group, join the local group. It's really, really a wonderful group to be part of. Matthew is not very well. He's seriously unwell. And, you know, we just wanted to make sure that everyone knew at Help Me Build My Business Australia how important Matthew is to us. And not only that, how he completely, he's inspired us to do this. Now, he's been telling me for years to get on live, and I would not do it, okay? And so he inspired this 100%. And we wish him well, and we send him lots of love and support.
Yes.
You'll find on the Help Me Build My Business Australia Facebook group, there's a link to a GoFundMe going at the moment if you are in a position to donate. Thank you very much, Kerri. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been wonderful. Thank you, everyone in the comments. I'm really loving this discussion. I'd love to keep it going in the group. So if you've got any other questions for Kerri, you can contact Kerri, or you can pop them in the group and we can tag her. So thank you so very much. Thank you for all the awesome comments. Have a really lovely night.
Okay, thank you. Bye.